This one comes to us from mercurynews.com. And I'm going to say this city wrong. I should look up these cities, man, before I start. Some of these towns. But I'm going to say it wrong, but it's Tiburon, California is where we're at. Now, the black owners of a business in I'm going to say Tiburon. The black owners of a business in Tiburon have settled a racial profiling claim with the town for $150,000 and the establishment of a police advisory council. So taxpayers, you get to dish out $150,000. The settlement was announced outside of Yema, the downtown Tiburon clothing boutique, where the incident occurred. Married co-owners Yema Khalif and Hawi Awash addressed a crowd of residents, activists, and media with their attorneys, David C. Anderson and Charles Bonner. Khalif said, "We are not begging, we are demanding. We're going to speak out. We're going to be vocal, and we are going to show how people deserve to be treated."
The incident was pretty simple. At 1 o'clock in the morning, police noticed 3 people inside this clothing store and decided to check it out. But video of the encounter shows just how wide the divide is between police and the black community. Yema Khalif, his wife and partner Hawi Awash, and a friend were unloading new inventory early Saturday morning when officers arrived and began questioning them. Yema had been at this location since February and says he was insulted by the demands to prove he owned the store, the only black-owned clothing store in town.
The settlement stemmed from an interaction between police officers and Khalif at about 1 a.m. on August 21st, 2020. Khalif, Awash, and their friend were inside the store located at 10 Main Street in Tiburon when Tiburon police officer Isaac Madfez approached and questioned them. Okay, he's like, "Why are you in the store this late at night?"
The officers were clearly frustrated, saying they were just doing their job, and told Yema all he had to do was show that his key fit into the door. But before that happened, a man in the neighborhood called down that Yema did own the store, and the officers promptly left. But Yema feels that just proves his point.
But it took like a white man across the street who did not come down to show his identification and prove who he was to de-escalate and to make the situation go away. So that tells you something.
The mayor has issued a public apology, and police are only commenting to say an independent investigation of the incident will be conducted. And while some in the community showed up to support the business owners today, Rand Schulman says he actually sees both sides of the dispute.
And I appreciate the police taking notice that something is a little bit out of the pattern that they see, and they investigate it a little bit. I understand that point of view. The other point of view is, I'm also sensitive to being asked for my identification and for things where I've done nothing wrong.
And I can see why the police officer would initially come up and go, "It's 1 a.m., you're working late? What's going on in here?" Because you never know, they might have got broke into. The officer was later joined by Supervisor Tiburon Police Sergeant Michael Blasi and Officer Jeremy Clark of the Belvedere Police Department. Khalif argued with the police over whether the people inside the store needed to prove their right to be there. The tense standoff, which was captured on video, ended when a neighbor said, "That's his store." And the officers left.
"I want to know what you're doing at the store at 1 o'clock in the morning."
Okay, if I tell you it's my store, then what?
Then show me that it's your store.
I do not have to show you nothing.
You are in a store after hours when the
Yes.
stores are closed. You should be grateful that we're being as diligent as we are to look out for the street. That's all we do.
I wasn't angry. I was just putting my foot down that, hey, if this was some other person of a different color, you would not be acting this way, and then you would not be here at this particular hour.
As Yema argued with the officers, his wife Howie became increasingly frightened.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the police officers had his hand on his gun, which was the most terrifying part for me.
Blasi later resigned. That's an admission of guilt, his conscience, or he knew he was in trouble. Then Police Chief Michael Cronin also stepped down that year, a move to retirement he said was long planned. Yeah, we believe that. I believe there's oceanfront property in New Mexico too. A copy of the incident was requested by the newspaper under the California Public Records Act. The request was denied, and the report deemed exempt from disclosure because it was a record of an investigatory file. Town clerk Leah Stefani said, "Oh no, we're not telling you what happened." Loose lips sink ships. The couple previously filed a $2 million claim against the town. They said they avoided filing a federal civil rights lawsuit because the town agreed to negotiate a settlement. Anderson said they wanted change. That's where their focus has always been. Tiburon Police Chief Ryan Monahan said in an email he was glad the town found a resolution. He said the incident provided an opportunity to proactively reevaluate the department's community relations. Chief Ryan Monahan was quoted as saying, "We have remained dedicated to providing a high level of service to all those who live, work, and visit Tiburon. The initiatives outlined in the settlement agreement, the things we feel will only enhance the community support we already have and will position us for the future." It tells you some more stuff here about what they're doing, this town and them, to build community relations. But basically what happens is this cop sees these guys in the store at 1 a.m. Yeah, he's like, what the hell is going on over here? Sure, he walks up, but when the guy says, no, I own this place and we're all in here, okay, well, have a good night. I was just, making sure everything was on the up and up. The business owner, Khalid, probably would have thanked him. Thanks for looking out. But they see black people in a store, they're like, uh-oh, that's not good. It's 1 a.m.
Yema admits his life experiences as a black man probably influenced his reaction in this case. But that's what happens when trust is lost. And the actions of everyone, citizens and police officers alike, are seen as being suspicious. In Tiburon, John Ramos, KPIX 5.
And you guys say the police don't have a judgmental vision. What I'm talking about is they have rose-colored glasses where they see, oh, that's a white middle-aged guy. He's all right. There's a black guy. He's got baggy clothes. He's got to be doing something wrong. That's how police think a lot of times. And you guys might say I'm wrong, but I go to certain cities where, you know how many white people I see pulled out sitting on the curb while they go through the car? You know how many Hispanic and black people I see? Hold on, I need to stretch it a little bit.